Hello there, and happy Monday. Got my cup of tea here. Come on in, get settled down, grab your cup of tea or whatever you're drinking, and get ready for a great show today. Because today we are going to be talking about one of the dilemmas, let's say, that I hear so frequently from all of the women that I talk to be honest. Yeah, all of them. And so today we're going to be talking about when treatment ends and you're left thinking, what now? What am I supposed to do now? Right? And if you're on live, pop in, say hi. Let me know that you're on. Let me know where you're coming from. I always love to know who's on with me. So, like I said, this is something that I hear all the time, and I can so relate because I too felt that way after my treatment was done. So, I want to start by talking about what our doctors don't tell us, right? What our doctors don't tell us. Because I don't know about your doctors, and I had fabulous doctors, guys, fabulous doctors throughout my whole breast cancer experience. But I feel like the ball was really dropped at the end of treatment. And perhaps you felt the same way. Because I can remember, if you think about it, through treatment, our hand is being held. We're being guided from one step to the next, from one test to the next, from one doctor to the next, one treatment to the next. Hey, Trish from Belfast, Northern Ireland, welcome. I'm so glad that you're on with us today. And I see we've got some other people on. If you want to allow StreamYard access to see your name, and it only sees your name, you just click above this video or below, depending on where you're watching it. There'll be a little sentence that says allow StreamYard to see your Facebook username. It's just your name, guys. Trust me. I promise you, I looked into this because your confidentiality, your information is really important to me. So if you want to allow StreamYard to see your name, you can just click on that and you'll see your name. Hi, Betty from New Jersey. Welcome, guys. So were you given any information about what life was going to be like after treatment ended? Just let me know, yes or no, in the chat. If you're watching the replay still, let me know. I wasn't told about late-term side effects. Who even knew, right? Very little, somebody's saying in the chat here, very little. Yeah, very little. And it's actually become my mission to change that. Because I got kind of angry, right? We're done with all of this treatment and we think that the hard stuff is over. We're like, yes, I did it. And somebody else is sharing that they felt deflated. That's a really good word, right? Just let down, deflated, because nobody was there to tell us what this next stage of recovery, which is what is the term for what happens after treatment is over. Nobody's telling us what's going on during that time, what to expect, what we might be feeling, what our body might be going through, what emotionally we might be going through. I mean, the emotions, seriously, after treatment is over, we are rarely prepared. And the other thing I think that is so hard about when treatment ends and we're left, like the rug's been pulled out from under us, and we're just there thinking, what do I do now? And what about our support system? The people who have been amazing throughout treatment, right? And I think we all have this expectation, because we're not told otherwise or any different, that, okay, I'm done with treatment. Give it a month or so. I'll be back to where I was. We're kind of expecting that. And I think our support system is expecting that too, because we are not told otherwise. And this is where, like I said, I get angry. It is my mission to change this. It is my mission to let you know what to expect and what you can also do to minimize those side effects, those crazy, crazy side effects that you might be feeling. I'll talk about those in a little bit. But how hard would it be? How hard would it be to be given a roadmap, to be given a list of you may be feeling some of these things, so that we're not thinking, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I remember Googling for me, what's wrong with me? Is this normal to be feeling crying at the drop of a hat, so exhausted I couldn't get out of bed? Anxiety, my heart would be racing all day long, every day. And then let's talk about the body aches. And something that was so scary to me was the brain fog. It was more than fog. I went through a period of 2 or 3 weeks where I literally could not string a sentence together. I was scared. I was scared. And nobody was telling me that these can be late-term side effects. Now, what you probably don't realize, some of you may be on hormone blocking medication. You may have had a little warning that that may throw you into menopause. Some of you, like me, I had a complete hysterectomy because I also carry the BRCA2 genetic mutation. And I'm on hormone blocking medication. So I was thrown into surgical menopause. And we're kind of warned a little bit about that. But what most people don't realize, and our doctors are not telling us this either, is that menopause symptoms are a side effect of most breast cancer treatments, whether it's chemo, radiation, or surgeries. And then the hormone blocking medication. Okay, so what might you be feeling that nobody's telling you you'd be feeling? Let's start with the hot flashes, right? Oh, the hot flashes, the fatigue, the anxiety, depression, even. You may be feeling very blue, feeling let down, like somebody had shared, deflated. You might be scared, thinking, what am I supposed to do so that I don't get this again? Right? Betty, don't be in a tizzy, my love. I've got you. You're in the right place, and I've got you. And we can chat, okay? Betty's sharing in here that she's gone through a lot, and she's feeling like she's in a tizzy. Please don't, okay? Well, let's chat, let's connect. I don't want you to feel like that, okay? And that's the thing, right? This feeling of being overwhelmed and scared and emotional and exhausted and not knowing what to do and not knowing, is this normal or not? And the feeling of being so incredibly isolated. Even when you're surrounded by loving, caring people, if you're one of those lucky people, so alone, because nobody around you gets it. How can they when you don't even get it, right? And we try to explain to them what we're feeling, that we're so exhausted. And it's not the kind of exhaustion that a nap takes care of. It's the bone aching exhaustion. And It's hard to explain. And other people might be thinking, come on, you're done. Get back to it. Maybe you're trying to get back to work and your brain's not working and you're worried about, are they going to fire me if I'm not performing the way I used to? Or maybe with your partner, are they going to love me? Because you've lost all sense of libido and certainly don't feel sexy in your new body or confident yet. And yet is an important word here because you can. And so we've got all of these anxieties about what's going to happen now in our relationships, in our day-to-day life, wondering how are we going to get back to normal? And our doctors don't say a thing. I want you to know, first of all, that when you are in my world, you are never, ever alone. Never. I want you to feel free to reach out, send me a direct message, send me an email, reach out. Do not feel like you're going through this alone. And if you're not yet in the Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook community, please come in and join us because that's where I hang out the most. So please come on in and join us in there. So what I've learned through the couple of years since I finished treatment, kind of let go of the anger, being angry at the doctors. Because what I've realized, and I've spoken to a lot of doctors since I finished, is that their job is to keep us alive. Their job is to get the cancer out of us and get us through whatever treatment is there. It is not their job, regrettably. I'd like to think that it were. But I would like to take the pressure off them, right? To know that we can figure this out with the right support, with somebody that has walked the path. Okay, it's why it's so important to be around other people that have been through this experience, who know what it's like. Even though our treatment paths may have been different, even though our diagnoses may have been different, it's important to get that support. Okay. Now, 95% of the women that I talk to expect to be getting the news, okay, you're done with chemo, or yes, you made it through your last surgery checkup, everything's good. And everybody's expecting to be doing a happy dance and celebrating. And yes, it is something to be celebrated. So why? Why? Because 95% of the women that I speak to experienced the confusion of thinking we should be celebrating, but instead feel like the bottom is falling out of your life. I know that's how I felt. And I was so confused, really disappointed. I was looking forward to that celebration. And yes, it is. It's a big deal. But you know what? We're not done when treatment is done. In fact, I don't know if we're ever really done. Can we ever remove that feeling of I've had cancer? Now, I like to think of the fact that cancer came along, it borrowed my body for a while, and now it's gone. That's how I like to think of it. It's like something that's in flow versus something that's stuck in me, because there's an energy around that being stuck that doesn't feel good to me. So I invite you to think of it that way too. So instead of sitting in this, and feel free to drop in the chat your experience when you were done and how you felt. But were you celebrating, or did you feel like the bottom had fallen out? Okay, so Like I said, you may be feeling exhausted, confused, anxious, depressed. You may be experiencing brain fog, body aches, hot flashes like crazy, belly bloat. We talk about the Buddha belly sometimes in the, in our breast cancer communities, and you might have lost all loss of libido. You may be experiencing painful intercourse, brain fog. And you know what? It's very common to be experiencing grief. Now, I recognized grief for me. I've experienced it massively. And in fact, in the past 5 years, I've lost my mom, my dad, and my younger brother. And then we go through something like breast cancer. And by the way, according to traditional Chinese medicine, we hold on to grief in our lungs, which lie beneath our breasts. So it's not unusual if you look to connect dots to like see somebody that's gone through, and it's not that it has to happen or it's going to happen, but it's important that we're recognizing grief and we're not holding it in our body. Okay. A lot of the people I talked to experienced grief like me prior to diagnosis. So just, I like to sometimes connect dots like that. But it's not unusual after treatment has ended for us to experience grief, right? For a life that once was, a body that once was, that felt like ours, and now we look in the mirror and don't recognize ourselves. A freedom that we once had. I know so many people who feel like they are imprisoned now by their breast cancer diagnosis. I don't want you to feel like that. And it sometimes feels like we're never going to get her back again. Right? I know. But please keep this in mind. We can't go back. We can never go back to what was. It's in the rearview mirror. But there is a road ahead of us, a wide, open, amazing road full of opportunity for change and growth and help and joy if we want it. We just need to know the roadmap to get there. Right? So if you want that roadmap, I've laid it out for you. I don't know how you felt. It always makes me think of this. How did you feel when you were waiting that time that felt never ending, waiting to hear what your treatment plan would be? Horrible, right? Just waiting, not knowing. And once you got it, no matter what that treatment plan was, did you feel a little bit of relief? I know I did. And the relief was kind of, I'll talk out loud what my mind went through. It was kind of like, okay, all right, well, now I know what to do. Okay, yeah, it's going to suck, Karen, but you know what? You've got this. You can do it. Did you feel that relief? Did you feel the relief? Let me know in the chat. Did you feel the relief? As bizarre as that might sound, when you knew what your treatment plan was going to be. And I know for me, it's because I'm a bit of a planner. Like I like to plan ahead, learn to go with the flow quite a bit, but I like a plan. I like to know what to expect. And so that's why I've put together for you today a free class. You don't have to join me at a certain time. You don't have to be live. I've made it so that you can get instant access to this class by just simply popping in your email, and then I'll send the class over. It'll come right to your inbox. Okay. Now this class gives you the roadmap for what's next. It's called, and it's a brand new class. I just finished it up. It's called What to Expect After Treatment Ends. This is your roadmap to your new normal. I go into more detail about these side effects, what you might be experiencing. I share how long you can expect before you start to feel like yourself again. And I also share some tips, 4 ways that you can actually boost your recovery and start to feel like you again sooner. So you've got the link, wherever you're watching this, you've got the link to grab that instant class, and it's right wherever you're watching this. So that's What to Expect After Breast Cancer Treatment Ends. I've laid it all out for you so that you've got a much clearer idea. Like I said, I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to change that feeling of us being deflated and let down and like nobody cares what's next, because I care. I care about you. I don't want you being left and just wondering and feel like you're just being left, kicked to the curb, right? It's like, okay, we're done with you now. And we're like this. Like, what? What now? What am I supposed to do now? That's why I've laid it all out for you in this free instant class. Like I said, no time to set up, no time zones to worry about, nothing like that. Just grab the class, watch it, and feel the relief of having a bit of a roadmap, of knowing what to expect now versus feeling, I'm wondering, what now? Or what's wrong with me? Or is this normal? And coming up with so much information that it's just overwhelming, especially if you're dealing with brain fog like I was. Like I'm trying to look and absorb, and I'm just like not able to take anything in. It's like, just tell me the right thing to do, please. One thing. That's exactly what I've done for you. And you'll know at the end of this class what your best next steps are. I will not leave you hanging. I didn't like that feeling. I don't want that feeling for you. That's why I shifted my entire coaching practice to serve breast cancer survivors when treatment ends. I didn't like the way that I felt, and I knew that I was uniquely qualified to help you in this very special, challenging time. But you don't need to go it alone. Okay, so click on the link wherever you're watching this video, grab that class, make a nice cup of tea. I've got mine over here, right? Have a sip. Drinking my elderberry and echinacea tea right now, just helping give my body that little boost to my immune system as we're heading into, the winter season and the holidays, where we're going to be around a lot more people. So any questions today before we finish up? But I really want you to grab this class, watch it. I've condensed it into just about an hour. And it may even be helpful to share the class with your loved ones. Help them understand. Share this information with them so that you're not feeling so alone. It's such a horrible feeling to feel like we've got to put a mask on and show up and smile and do what we used to do for the world and just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And inside, we're exhausted. We're on an emotional roller coaster ride. And we're scared. Because that fear, that black cloud, of cancer, now that we've had it, feels like it's just hanging right here, following us around. It's like almost like we're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. But here's the thing, and this is what I've learned, because what I'm sharing with you also in this class are the exact steps that I take every single day to keep myself healthy. I'm sharing that with you. So have you ever taken a test in life where you've gone in and you know that you've studied and you're like, okay, I've got this, I've got it. But you also know that should a question come up on the test that you didn't study for, you're like, okay, well, sometimes we get thrown curveballs. Well, how would you like to walk into your next checkup, whether that's in 3 months, 6 months, or a year, knowing that you're taking the steps and doing as much as you can do to help reduce your risk of getting sick again? Because I can tell you from personal experience, there was a time 6 months ago or so that I found a couple of lumps, right, on my flat chest, but I found lumps. And as I'm going into the doctor, I'm not going to tell you I wasn't anxious, because yes, I was anxious, but I was able to control that anxiety by telling myself, Karen, you know what you've been doing. You know you've done your best to stay healthy, to remove inflammation from your body, to manage your stress differently, to get toxins out of the house, like all of the things that I do. And I went in there and I laid there so calmly, just like you do when you've studied for that test. So that fear, we can silence it, or at least quieten it, so that it's not nagging all the time in our brain. And that is such an incredible feeling. But if we're doing nothing and we're changing nothing in our habits, that fear gets louder and louder and louder. Because we're like, well, I haven't changed anything and I got sick, so. But I know it's overwhelming. And I know it's difficult to know what to change and what not to change and what's the right thing for you and what isn't. And I share your best next steps, condensing 20 plus years of experience and education in the health and wellness industry to make them as easy and doable for you as possible. Because I know you're tired, I know you're overwhelmed, but I also know that you want to not get sick again. Okay, cover all of that for you in the class, What to Expect After Breast Cancer Treatment Ends. So again, any questions today before we finish up? I want to make sure I'm answering your questions. If I haven't already answered something, I want to make sure that your questions are answered if you have them. So pop them into the chat. Sometimes, and by the way, sometimes not all of the chats pop up. So I will go back into all of the locations, because I'm streaming to 3 locations. I'll go back to all of the locations and make sure that your questions are answered if you've popped them in. So don't worry if you're like, Karen, I put a question in and I can't, and I'm not seeing it. So, and I think I'm up to date on the comments that I can see. So thank you guys so much for watching. I want to let you know that the path forward does not need to be difficult. It does not need to be intimidating. And you certainly do not need to feel alone. You just need support from somebody that has walked the path, who's got the experience and the education, both the book knowledge, but also personal life experience to get you through these difficult things, to help you bounce back, or should I say bounce forward, right, into our new normal. Because it can be amazing when you know what to do. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Again, Karen Del Maestro here, your health and transformation coach, breast cancer, BRCA2 thriver, and you can find me hanging out in the Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook community or also at KarenDelMaestro.com. Thank you so much for watching, and join us next week for our live Heart to Heart at noon Eastern Time. Thanks for watching, and I will see you then. Bye for now.